Welcome back to Saxthorpe Farms, and we're dealing with the aftermath of the trip to the Oaks. So we've got our soybeans to tip in to the silo that we brought back, and it was a pretty successful trip. We got a new tractor out of it. The bank balance has gone up. I can't really complain too much. Yeah, it was a fair bit of work, but it was definitely worth it. It was so tempting to pick up that Massey Ferguson equivalent of the Fendt combine. I think I showed that in the last video that was on sales, but I think the route that I've gone is better, getting the extra tractor, because as you'll see in this video, it allows us to do a lot of extra work in the background. So I'm going to get everything repaired, everything refueled and set back up, and we're going to crack on with some contracts for basically wireless light still, because there's money to be earned. And probably the next few videos, there's a lot of contracts available, and so I'm going to be running them in the background a lot when we have spare kit. And that's why I said it was worth us getting the extra tractor, because probably, depending on the size of the contracts, I would have thought, like 10 contracts, it will be paid for. So that's pretty good. We will be then be making profit on it. So I say it's pretty cool. I think in the last video we picked up that massive ploughing contract, and I need to buy another plough to run it, because we're not leasing stuff, so I need to buy another plough to run it. But I think it's definitely going to be worth it, and it'll be kind of fun to run 3 tractors in one field on courseplay. I don't know how much of that I'll show when I get around to doing it, but I'm going to enjoy it. So yeah, and that sort of stuff really does get my brain going, because it's like, how do I set it up, and then just how well does courseplay run it. And it doesn't necessarily make a great viewing, because just topping the diesel tank up doesn't necessarily make a great viewing experience, but it's the stuff that I enjoy. So, and when courseplay gets stuck, working out how to play around with it to get it to keep running. So yeah, and it pays us 20 grand, which is really good money. The contracts on here don't pay quite so well as the Oaks. So yeah, we have had an potential offer for a harvesting contract. A local farmer over on the Oaks has a field that he may pay us to harvest. So we haven't worked out all of the details yet. Some of these repair bills are so big, but needs must. Yeah, but we might go over and run his kit for him. We might take our kit over. We might do a bit of both. We'll see. And we'll see how that works out. Yeah, that will be a nice payday, because he basically has a field that he just wants cleared. So, I'm going to see if I can sort that out, because I'm torn. I want to buy more land, but I want to pay loan off, which is what we're doing. You can see how much we spent on repairing tractors. We're down to 90 grand. So, and yeah, most of that was repairing and refueling. Some of those repair bills were huge, but we have a 7.5 grand fertilizing contract that's just been finished to claim. And we have I think we've got a barley seeding contract and probably a cultivating contract running before I get stuck into harvesting. I'm just going to run field 41 and field 42 have fertilizing contracts. They're tiny. They're not going to take me very long. So I'm just going to run these quickly, and then we'll get the combine out. Yeah. I know this tractor isn't ideal for this job, but for now it's what we've got. And I do still remember your suggestion, Smock, that we need to update the custom sound again. I just haven't got around to it. So there is some new Deutz custom sounds, because I don't think this is even a Deutz sound. I think it's just a random one I picked. It sounded just a bit more throaty. But yeah, I want to update that. But probably long term, this tractor's not going to be doing this kind of job. So I still want to get 9 series warrior. But that's quite a bit of cash. So we'll see when one crops up in the sales. Maybe I pretty much want to get a full set of modern-ish Deutz tractors. So there's the 6 series as well. It's a really nice little tractor actually. Yeah, so going to just keep plodding along with that. If you follow Farmers and Briscoe's Discord, and if you don't, you should. He is working on updating the oaks. It looks pretty cool. He's working on a sort of 80s reversion of it, which, yeah, so he's doing a whole load of new textures and stuff. It looks really cool. So I think he's also trying to work on improving the performance of the map, so that will be good as well, because when I'm playing on my laptop, it does get a little bit... It's hard work for the laptops. So yeah, these are only a grand each, but nice little bit of cash. Yeah, I've been having a chat with him. He sent me some stuff to try that he's putting into the new version, which will improve the performance. I just haven't been back on the Oaks yet to test that. As you can see, we've got a lot of contract fields up and running. Yeah, and another contract done, so another 5 grand in the bank. It was a barley seeding contract. And now on to harvesting our field. So we're going to be tackling the sorghum field today. I need to get the canola harvested before the end of September, because that will wither. And I need to check whether we've got any canola harvesting contracts, because they also need to be done. Obviously, our field is the priority. But yeah, so pretty much a similar plan to previous ones, and that's mainly down to the fact that the bigger tractors are off doing field work. So we're going to have the I'm going to drive the Fendt. Auto Drive is going to drive the AgroStar with the auger on the back and the lorry. So to make some space to get everything in the field, I'm just going to open up this corner first, which is not something I was also checking that we were actually harvesting, because been a long time since I've done sorghum, I think, and normally it's not a crop that I do. I generally am much more focused on growing things that I need to support the animals I have. Don't have any, so we're just doing some different things. And yeah, I thought I would open the field up, make some space for the lorry to be in the field, the auger to do its thing. And so yeah, I'm doing this. It actually wasn't quite enough space in the end, but you know, I may do. Yeah, I figured this was a sensible idea. It meant that I didn't have to run the lorry up on the sort of grass headland area, which is quite rough in this field. So yeah, in fact, in most of the fields on here, which is not unrealistic again. And so I always like looking. In fact, every time I run down there, I look at the fields that the farmers are working on. When I was down there on, was it Friday? It wasn't Saturday. Might have been Tuesday actually last week. They were grading one of the tracks, and annoyingly, I saw them turn around and then disappear off it as they were grading the track. But they were running a really nice old sort of the same sort of era John Deere as we have on Glenlartham. I think it was. I don't think it was a 7810. I think it was a bit smaller. It wasn't a big tractor. It was dragging like some arrangement of I-beams behind it with a bigger. I think it was a bigger Massey with like a trailer full of gravel. So yeah, it was kind of cool. So I've set up a loop for the lorry that basically comes off of the main spur into the field, parks, and then loops out. That green loop at the top of the screen is its exit. I now need to put something in for the auger to loop round and tip into the lorry. So that's what we're doing now. I am going to have to drive into the crop. I think I actually had crop construction turned off at this point. Where I've been doing a lot of stuff with auto drive and sometimes intervening, it kind of makes sense. Because auto drive will just drive into the field. So yeah, just getting this set up will be done. And I think this map is one of the more complete auto drive networks I've worked on building myself. So I'm not using Auto Drive Guys network, and that's partly because I've customized the yard a little bit, adding in those 2 fermenters, and I've added some bits at some sell points and stuff, and so at this point I'd have to do work to add all that back. And so basically every time I go into a field I've not set up, I'm just going to set it up. And as I'm doing contracts, that means slowly we're going to cover all of the map. Same with sell points. When I come across a sell point I haven't set up that I need, I just add it into the network and move on. There are some bits I've done wrong. So I like having the loops around the field. What I did wrong is they should have been secondary loops so that vehicles don't try and use them when they are traveling. The problem might be that here, where we've got a road with a normal route next to a field with a secondary route, the tractors might try and jump out of the field onto this primary route rather than using the secondary one. So it's the first time I've really built a big auto drive network, and I'm learning. So, and it's one of those things that I find kind of cool to get it to work. I've been doing a lot of harvesting with auto drive lately. I get that. Some of you might be getting a bit bored of it, but yeah, it's been a mixed success. I don't know if I need to update my version of auto drive. I'm really bad at updating all mods, really, let alone mods that generally you need to go off to a different site to pick up. I tend to do it in batches every so often, usually when Smock posts in my Discord that they've been updated. I might then go grab it, but other than that I'm pretty bad. The same with mod. Usually sometimes if I go into the in-game mod hub and see there's a load that need updating, I will then think about updating them. I have to be quite selective, because if it's like, you know, the Maize Plus Animal Food editions, that generally doesn't get an update these days, but as an example, I've probably customized it. This track, the Deutz that's coming across, I've customized it, so it'll tell me it needs an update when in fact it doesn't. So yeah, I just sped this up a little bit because it took a while and then it went for a little wander. So quite often for this field, what I was doing is letting auto drive get it to me, and then I might take over just to speed it up a little bit. Like in this situation, I'm stopped anyway, so rather than waiting for auto drive to work out how to get under the auger, I just jumped in, saved myself a few minutes. Yeah, so at the moment we've got another barley seeding contract running. I think the second 7250 is on a ploughing contract, and the 7230 is on a cultivating contract. So this is what I said about once we get kit, we'll get more profitable until the point where we own more of the land. This is a really nice way of increasing our income, and I think for a while it's going to be the situation where we can do that. If you spot in the background, it took me a while to notice the header trailer is actually in the way, and the collision on it is stopping the little Deutz from running down and emptying us. The medium-sized Deutz, the medium-small, the agro style. There we go. That took me a minute to realise, but I did get there. Yeah, so what I'm thinking, once we own, or maybe it might not be, once we own more of the map, we might not need contracts to earn money because we'll have other sources of income. So that might not matter. But if we get to that point, that's probably when I will think about setting up the satellite farm on the Oaks that I've mentioned. So buying a little yard there, that will mean that we can more easily do contracts there. Just as a reminder, because not everyone may remember, in the real world, these maps are actually quite close together. I think it's about a 4, depending on what you're in, obviously. It's about a 40-minute drive. So in the real world, it's about 30 miles. So it depends on traffic and all that stuff, but it's not unreasonable to split our equipment between those, at least, particularly making use of workers and stuff. So yeah, and so there's a lot of contracting work over on the Oaks that we can pick up, and if we can do that, that will mean we can keep the money coming in, which is, always a good thing on here, because say we do need to keep buying more land. You'll see, actually, let me think, where are we? Talk about that in a minute. So yeah, I've moved the header trailer out of the way. So I was just checking my notes. I've got some time codes for stuff on the notes this week, because I didn't have an endless stream of stuff to talk about the video. But so far I've been talking endlessly, so I guess I did. Yeah, and see, to set up the satellite farm on the Oaks is going to cost us money. We're going to need to buy some land, some buildings, some infrastructure, all that kind of thing. So yeah, a lot going on here. The lorry's just got back from tipping. The auger is trying to tip, and I think that some idiot who's got a slightly full combine might then go and tip into the auger, so that I can be empty as I cut in. And I thought it looked cool, so hopefully I think I might. This is a potential for the thumbnail, so hopefully I have edited out the faffing that I did to get a picture of this. But yeah, it was too good an opportunity to ignore. So yeah, look at that lovely smooth editing, and basically what it means is I can now get into the body of the field, and we got a 12 grand cultivating contract there that we have finished up. And so in the sale is a set of mowers. There we go. Well, a mower. It's the Novacat Crossflow, and it's only 26 grand, and we are going to need to get into mowing. So I thought I'd pick that up now. I'm sure I've seen the front mower component of that on sale. I don't want to get a mismatch set. There are other front mowers for sale, but don't want to do that. And I did think about the round baler, but I don't. That only makes small bales. We've got a square baler, so we might go get a bale wrapper. But there are some silaging contracts on here. Once we've got a front mower, if we could buy a front mower and a wrapper, actually we're good to go for those, because that mower windrows. So, and we've got the square baler. We might even have a round. I think we've only got the square baler. So we could then get into silaging contracts as well. And the reason that, maybe not obviously, the reason that we need grass working kit is that there is a cow farm on the map. I do enjoy running cow farms. This is the only save that I've had in a long time that's got this far that hasn't had animals. So inevitably it's going to happen at some point, but maybe not yet. It might be that I hang on until I've got a stockpile of food. So maybe initially from excess from contracts. So if we get a stockpile of grass, silage, bales and hay, then maybe we could do that. I'm just knocking off the little protrusion here, and then we can get into the main body of the field. Actually, a mod that I haven't looked at yet, but is kind of intriguing, is Metrics, who does better contracts, has released the forage harvesting contracts mod. And I've looked at the mod hub page, but I've not actually tried it yet. And what it looks like is you forage fields and then you deliver the chaff to sell points. So I guess the plus there is you would get an excess, which you could then tip in a clamp. So I might add that in. I don't know. We do own a forage harvester, so actually that might be quite sensible. And we own a fermenter, so any excess we could put into there. Actually, that might make it worth updating the fermenter so that it won't come up as a sell point, because now there will be chaff. So yeah, I might need to do that, because they generally don't work. Your own productions generally don't work great as sell points for contracts. So yeah, I might need to do that. Actually, I don't know. No, I think it was someone else I was talking to about that. The little bit of XML you need to add into a mod so that it doesn't appear as a sell point for contracts. I should definitely do that, actually. But yeah, does anyone tried out the foraging contracts mod yet? because I haven't. The other mods that I was thinking about adding in there, there's the lime and the rolling ones. I was thinking more for those for Glenarthen, where DS Agri love crushing contracts, and that would mean there are more of them. And what am I up to here? Oh yeah, I've noticed that the combine is kind of damaged, and it's the header. Whether I forgot to repair the header, but that's not good because that is probably going to be affecting our yield. So we've got enough cash in the bank. We're going to head to the store and we're going to pick up the field service truck by Akimobile. And I want to say thank you to him because I was struggling to work out how to use this, and we had a little chat and he clarified in my mind, and yeah, it's actually way simpler than I thought to use. So we're going Deutz Green because we're a Deutz farm. If you have things like production revamp and I think the maintenance mod, that becomes more complicated, but we don't. So this is just, it'll store fuel and it acts as a repair point. But it doesn't act as a repair point in the way that I expected and maybe you expect. And so we'll put some fuel in and then we'll head up to the field and we'll explain what I did wrong and how it works. So I cut out a lot of time that I spent faffing because you don't need to see that because it was all wrong. So you press X to open up the repair functionality and you'll see that as I drive past the combine, we get charged for repairing the combine. Job done. There are 2 triggers at the back and there's the 370 was the header being repaired. So once the thing that needs repairing goes into, so you see the chunks are repairing, sorry. Once the thing that needs repairing goes into the trigger, it gets repaired. I'm now faffing thinking, I missed these costs when I was playing, and I'm trying to get a repair trigger to go into to get the workshop menu up to hit repair. Now, there is not one. It will just repair for you, which is really cool. So if you open the back up, there's a trigger each side of the back. If you have a vehicle in that, it will repair it. So, yep, there we are, all repaired. I'm not going to tell you how much time. So you'll notice the game's on half time because I slowed it down because I was struggling. I'm not going to tell you how much time I spent faffing trying to get this to work. I think there is a grand total of 1 video explaining how to use this, and it is Akim's video. And it's in German. So I watched it and I thought, yeah, I understand how to use that. I did not. So yeah, thanks Akim for explaining it. And I've wanted to use it because it's a different way of doing mobile repairs. We need that with this save quite often. And it's really cool. You open up the repair capability, it repairs stuff. You get charged for it. I think it does it in increments, so you see there were multiple charges of £370 as it repaired chunks of the header. We can now get back to work and make some progress. So yeah, it's a cool mod. I really like it. I spent a lot of time trying to get it to work. Oh well. So yeah, we're basically now just gonna, you can see the lorry's just going off to tip over there. I think I might have adjusted the fill percentage because there are a couple of times where there wouldn't be enough space for the auger to completely empty into the lorry. So it ended up being a bit of an out of syncness. It's a good word, good wordage there, good wordage. It would end up out of sync and I'd have to go over to the agro start and tell it to come support the combine. And sometimes it would do this. And we would have to wait as it did quite a big loop to get back round. Yeah, I'm going to have a look actually to see if I need to update auto drive because it is faffing a bit. I know, I think it was a few weeks ago, Cartech was having lots of problems with it driving past the auger so it wouldn't stop to unload. And I did have some slight problems where if in this situation there was room and I started moving again, it didn't want to keep up. And you can see it's just backed out of. being able to unload. It's not full, we're not empty, but it just decided to reverse for a bit, which is really helpful. We've got enough room. We can run down here now and work on combining the rest of the field. I was slightly triggered by the fact that I was not running along the tram lines, but doesn't matter at this point. It will matter when we get stuck into Terra Life. So if you didn't see, there was a post on the Maze Plus Discord about the status of Terra Life, and basically there's a whole load of work going on behind the scenes, and until that's done, we won't start streaming again, because once that's done, we should have a beta map to test. So. And we can start streaming again. On top of that, Paul's in the process of moving, and so obviously that's a priority over making videos for people. So, which kind of works for me, because the next few weeks are really kind of mental. So I don't know when we're going to restart, but when there's something useful to show, we will restart. So there's lots going on in the background. I think that's us just finishing the first cut into this side of the field. Hopefully Mr. Agrostar will come. It's much more obvious from this end how badly misaligned I was to the tram lines. And it would kind of work out as well, because we're running a 12-meter header. We would occasionally run in the tram line, which would reduce the compaction. I don't think we're on 12-meter tram lines in this field. I think we're on 18. Yeah, I don't actually think we have any. Not sure. Don't quote me on this. I don't think we have any, I guess, autumn/winter planting to do. I'm not certain of that. We might, but yeah, let's just speed this up a little bit. There we go. So I get bored waiting when I'm playing in real time, so I figured you guys might get bored waiting in watching video land, so I do just occasionally just speed up the and yeah, this is some of the fun that I had. I don't know if I included it. We'll see in a moment. I wanted to do a really nice overhead shot at one point of auto drive bringing the carter up and unloading the combine, and it just came into view and stopped. So yeah, I realise I'm complaining a lot about auto drive at the moment, but without it, I'd have a massive fag. So we're just doing a little bit of reverse unloading here, just to show you how skilled we both are. Yep, both pretty awesome drivers, and we're most of the way done at this point. I'm actually kind of confused because my draft video is showing 10 minutes left, and yeah, they're just grabbing a few more contracts. I'm not taking the or sunflower harvesting contracts. We only have a small-ish header to do those, and I'm not sure I want to buy another one yet. So we have sunflowers to harvest, but I might just use one of the older with the smaller header to get that done, or the smaller header on the big combine. I guess we get the capacity then. Might be nice to break out one of the old combines. So yeah, I'm intentionally not taking those. We don't have any kit to do the root crop harvesting contracts at the moment. At some point we'll pick one of those up, maybe in sales if one crops up at a good price. Then we'll think about picking one up there. It would be a good earner because root crop harvesting contracts pay well, and root crops pay well because of the working profit. There it is. Did you just see the Deutz reversing out of scene? That was all I got. That was it. It was going to be epic. It was going to be epic. But it didn't happen. I think I've got one more strip to go, which is why I'm kind of surprised that my draft video has so much time left. You wouldn't think that I actually only made this 2 days ago. There we go. So I think the aggro start is running around the outside of the field very slowly. I don't know why. It was, yeah, it's running at 4 miles an hour. I don't know if it needs a repair. So while it's doing that, I'm going to dump into the truck last of the, there it is. You can see I'll run the last of the up-down rows, and we'll see how much we got with this field. Yielded very well, so it's definitely a good thing. It's the harvest payout this year should be pretty good actually, because we've got all of the silage that we chopped. I don't know if it's all fermented yet, but we got all the silage that we chopped. We've got the sorghum field. We've still got canola, sunflowers, and soybeans to harvest. So yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Obviously, soybeans, unless we get a great demand or something, we won't be selling until the summertime. But that's quite nice actually, because it generally ties up with just before harvest, and we can probably then do what I did this year and pick up a couple of fields just before harvest time and get the crop off them for very, if we get them before harvest ready, we can quickly sort out their fertilization and yeah, basically make some money for not a lot of work. Hopefully get paid to plant them and do all the other stuff, and then just take all of the crop off them. And I've still got on my list to try and do the test of, do you make more owning the field, or do you make more working the field for someone else? We will see. I am routinely checking this out. That Challenger is so tempting, but we would have to borrow more money, and I don't want to do that at the moment. The Kubota plow was as well, but yeah, so we're still pretty deep in debt. It might be that we pay off the loan for the combine before we buy more stuff. Apart from the plow I need. That Kubota plow in the store was quite tempting, but annoyingly, it's not the same type as the Cavernan one we have. Obviously, they're partner brands. But we have a 3.5 meter Cavernan plow versus a 2.5 meter Kubota plow. So, yeah, lots of contracts waiting to be done. I'm not sure what I'm showing here. I'm really not. Chop, chop. There we go. So I think I was showing what the tractors are up to. But again, here, the 7230 is cultivating, 17250 is planting, and one's ploughing. So they're earning us decent money in the background, which is going to let us get more kit, which is going to let us make more money. It's all a process. It's all a process. So I think I end up tipping the crop, so maybe I am going to fill the rest of the time, but quite often I would stop at the end of this run, but because I really haven't shown how much crop we got, and I wasn't really sure, I thought it would be good to run the trailer back to the yard, tip it in the silo, and show you how much we got. And what I'm not sure of, actually I do know, we'll get there. We'll get there. If I show it. Actually, just in case I don't, because I think I realised afterwards, there was a great demand flash up at some point, and I looked at it and ignored it. I think I might have looked in time saving stock check before we'd put any crop from here in the silo, so it didn't register that we had any. There's a great demand for sorghum, and I think it's £900 per 1,000 litres. Which is, it's certainly higher than the best price we can expect. So next video, the first thing we're going to be doing is selling all the sorghum that we've just harvested. And we probably could have been selling it straight off the field, but it's nice this way that we get to see the yield, because I don't think I reset the yield counter in precision farming before I harvested the field. So that will it'll give us a nice little indicator of, or not a nice little indicator, it'll give us a big chunk of cash. it will give us a big chunk of cash. So I'm just going to switch off this auto drive so that it doesn't try and, because you know as soon as I open the auger it will be right there, super efficient. I'm going to unload for you, and we're also going to put the header trailer in place so that I'm going to take the header off the combine, because the next field is field 24 I think, which is the canola field, which is a reasonable distance up the map. So we're doing that next, and I say any canola contracts that I've got I need to get done as well. So the other 2 fields, which are sunflowers and something, are okay to be harvested in October, so that's fine. We can spread the work out a little bit. We can keep knocking the contracts out, which is going to keep bringing more cash in, which is really what this whole series is about. It's a lot like the £10 million debt challenge that I did, but the other way. You know, rather than having it all brought and repaying the debt, we're having to make the money to buy it all. So yeah, and we don't have a massive dairy farm which is just printing money. So, you know, it's not quite the same really, is it? Or sheep producing wool, producing fabric, producing clothes, which was again just printing money. So I am thinking, and actually we're quite a way off. I was thinking about adding the farm dairy onto here, but we actually need to have cows producing milk first. So but when we do get cows, I think I'm going to use that. I think it will help, because it's going to take quite a while for production of the animals to ramp up on here. So kind of the earlier we get cows, the quicker we're going to make money. But I like not having the commitment of having animals. So it's one that I talk about a lot, because it's a bit of a dilemma in my head. So, to be fair, I'm not saving time because I'm doing other things instead, you know, like going to the Oaks and spending 5 hours combining a field. But oh well, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. At this point, I'm going to say thank you to the patrons and YouTube channel members. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. It's much appreciated. Let's tip this in and see what we've got. So nice having a big silo on the farmer's standard. It's a benefit. That this farm was definitely the right yard to get ultimately, with how much kit we've got as well. So I did like the older yard that you could start on here, but this was the right one to buy in the end. We're using a lot of the shed space, so which we wouldn't have had on the other yard. So let's see. We have got. Come on, open the freaking menu up. Everyone's waiting for you. Press escape. Come on. Come on. We're all waiting. There we go. 210,000 litres, and yeah, £905 per 1,000 litres. So that's going to be a couple of $100,000, which is pretty nice. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Comments, questions, suggestions below. I will see you next time.